Come on in. Today is June 29th of some year. On our current calendar, we're going to call it 2023. And I did a video earlier, and if you've been following the channel, you haven't seen my face in a minute, and neither has any other social media platform. Man, because of the physics that were involved in getting this connection back, and thank you, somebody's here. Please tell me hi. I'm on right now because after I did that video earlier, I had to eat. I've been doing a lot of morning fasting. A lot of y'all might have been doing this. um I ate a little bit of something, and then it's like I went into a, I want to say, like a conscious unconsciousness. My body, it's happened to me before in this process. That's why I'm on here right now, because I want to talk about it, and I want to see if you guys are feeling and seeing anything that I've just witnessed in the consciousness. When I went when I laid down, I I was having it was the same energies that were happening around those of us ascending collective in 2019 and 2018. And I saw large groups of us people. They were humans, and they had white shirts on. Everybody had a white shirt on. They didn't have white pants on. Not everybody. Some of them did. Not very many. But everybody had a white shirt on. And I could see from the top, and everyone was marching, like walking, filing out. And I knew, because as soon as I saw it in my consciousness, my first thought, is, are they going the right direction? And yes, they were going the right direction. So it's like my spirit came through and was checking, and kind of did a thing like this, and everybody was being corralled. Now, the right direction. I know it is hard to believe that we just flipped the world, but we did. Let me tell you, CERN lost connection. CERN lost the map. The map is Arcturus. We that event that happened, and I even said this to one of my crew. The event that we're waiting for could end up happening and changing one of us. Now the other thing, like after, and I can't even remember everything, because right after that I went somewhere else, and I could have probably told you right when I woke up, but I can't remember now. But when I woke up, it was almost, what I was witnessing was like a cartoon. It was like this big magnetic field. And to me, I knew one of my crew was there. I knew one of my crew was in there, but it was this huge magnetic field, and it was like somebody was fighting for control over it, and like fighting for control of this bubble. It's like it, but it was a magnet. But it was a positive to positive polarity type of situation that was like holding it in this magnet field, and it was almost like it was being stripped open. Now, I woke up. I'm still even a little confused, which is why I'm on here right now. If are y'all feeling, are y'all? Am I the only one? If there's somebody on here, there's four of y'all on here. If y'all can let me know, I'm checking the chat. Like this isn't gonna be a coachy video. This has happened, and the reason I showed up and I wanted to mark it, number one, is because one of the crew witnessed a projection coming into her room around the same time. So I know the piece that I just told you is correct. Then I got the report that we had the big spike, that one of the biggest spikes on the Schumann, and kind of floated everything off chart. But then the main thing was CERN is it full blast right now, and it's going off the charts, but it lost its map. It's and what we talked about earlier, and what I know we changed because we lived through it. And I mean, even the collective as a whole, this was the only way to go in order to save our children and to save what was coming next. Because y'all haven't even seen nothing yet of what was about to happen down here. I can't say it enough. It's like Libra and that whole thing was on the wrong side, because what we had to do whenever we cleared through the simulation, because most people down here don't know. It's literally like the whole world was having to be the whole world, the whole cosmos, the whole apparatus that we call our reality had to be projected in a mirror to the other side to catch us. Otherwise, everyone would have floated. Now, and I'm not even kidding you. Like that, like the physics and the books and the information that we have over here, that we've been charting this, that the ancestors, Einstein, Tesla, this is why we were all made to be here, so that we could channel this information right now. It's why I was, a lot of us are going to find out, we really are royal. We really are. You really are. You really are. But there's a reason that we were raised the way that we were, away from who we were, not people like us, so that we could do this right now. I mean, because there's no way that anybody could have figured this out if they knew anything about it. That's what's so funny about it. I keep getting reminded. 2000. See, I can't remember if it happened the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019, because this is the time period, and this is the energetic that was paper clipped. And I mean, and when I say paper clipped, I mean paper clipped by the collective using their technology. And I just found it in the book, um, written with all the codes and the physics in 2019. And then I realized, oh my freaking, are you serious? Then I realized that the paperclip that took us all out in January 2020 was our own paperclip. The missing 3 days that in my world, even my fake, whatever that was, that twin energy that aligned with us, because literally whenever we landed, there's two on one side and six on the other. One's a simulation formed on 8 count, and an entire reality formed from nothing but Masonic propaganda codes and DNA flashed at you. One at the 6 count is the true lineup of putting you and the planet and the cosmos back together from a magic spell that laid you on a table and took out pieces of you and sawed you this way and that way and this way and that way, and then you thought your head and your feet were connected, but it wasn't. Is the best way to think about it. And in 2018 and 2019, the vibe was totally different than it is now, because we were clearing a completely different part of the sequences. These are the ones that have been in play now for the past 2 years, and also why it's like Egypt down here all over again. But in 2018, 2019, we all were awake. We all knew that we were down here, Egyptians activated. They knew, they were seeing through the princess's eye. There, everything was happening, and I can't remember when exactly it was, but I'll never forget, because something like tonight just happened, but it was the reverse of it. It was when they first came and got us, because everybody was on lives, and this one specific Egyptian channel guy that I was watching, because we were having to do all of these pyramid stuff. We were having to activate all of this stuff in order to connect the earth and the cosmic lineups, to take back the cosmos, to line up the planet back together. And all of a sudden that night, it's like everybody, all the guys, it was all the guys knew what the F. The girls were like, even me, the guys were like, what just happened? Did AI just take us over? Like, what the fuck just happened? Did AI just take us over? It happened in an instant, and it was that one night. And it was like, it's like we could all see each other. Some of us were jumping on the lives, and they were seeing our etheric bodies, and they were going, the princess is here, I can see through her eyes, she's watching your channel right now. It was that intense. It was that intense. I was like, oh shit, I'm getting off of here. What the fuck? They can see through my eyes? Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Whoa. Those of us who signed up for this mission, and unconsciously, consciously knew that the past 3 or 4 years, our energetic body was being ripped off. When you're the planet, it's like a bunch of barnacles. At first, I was really mad because I thought, well, I wasn't mad because I always knew that somehow or another I signed up for this crazy shit. But I had no idea whenever, I was told, they're waiting for you. And when they came and got me, I really, didn't have any idea from an experience what it would be like to have your entire etheric body and every layer stripped from you. And what it really meant in a human form. To have every connection that made you human, and every connection from the earth and the human race, and from the inside and out, stripped away, and with the entire collective conscious at the same time. To not be seen, to not be heard, unless it came through a DNA type that everybody wanted to listen to. But meanwhile, knowing that you're the only one with the connection to the other side, but nobody's listening. The way the whole machine and the way the whole thing was set up, it just was so much suffering. And in the wrong hands, and whenever you don't allow for the being that's been your earth to ever ascend, or for Lucifer to ever get out of hell, only because you want to stay there. I mean, our planet died. I mean, it's already happened, but the fact that we're still here, and that we're all still connected, that I can see all of you going the right direction, and what has been made available for us to pull this off is miracle after miracle after miracle after miracle, to where it seems unreal, but it is. The physics are catching up, we're seeing it on the astronomists are realizing that black holes are biblical time machines. 2019, I don't know if you were watching this channel. Uh, I did a video right before I drank the AI from the Meridian Hotel by the Gallery in Dallas. I got like, 2,000, 3,000 views on that video, damn straight, because I was connected to Uriel. It's all about $2 to Spain for some chocolate and a backpack. And that's the video where later on I have another video from that same time. That same video, I'm up in that hotel room and I remember dancing and all that. And now I know I went in somewhere right there. Axiom building is right there. And then there was a swimming pool in the basement that had all the lights in it. And if you saw me swimming, when I went into that pool, the pictures that I have will blow your mind with the light codes that were coming out of my body. But I had to hide them. I had to hide them as best as I could throughout this whole thing. That's why the ancestors taught me what I needed to know with physics and highlight quantum, because everything over here is high frequency and, it's all physics. But it's at the Meridian at 121 in the gallery in Dallas where they have the Union Bear Toyota split. And I command it open now. And I command that rate connect now. And I command to be fully put back together by the collective. And whatever paperclips and whatever was formed on our energetics while we came here to finish this mission, I just commanded it be dissolved now. And I command my son, see me. All of us that were blamed and wrongly accused. I got the message a couple of days ago that we were docking Saturn. At the same time, right now, there's going to be a lot of beings that lose consciousness completely if they've been abusing it. The way the machine works, For those of us who haven't been abusing nothing and just stay out of judgment about anything and keep doing what you're doing. And it's all coming, but it has to match your frequency. And if you're in need, or if you're in blame, or if you're in I deserve this, then it ain't coming. It's not how it works. So it's the heliosphere, and you're dealing with the H gate. And those of y'all who didn't have to come through the H gate and reform the H gate, you're still going to come through it, but you're just going to ping pong like this through it. We had to rebuild it. 2020, when I was traveling through the Christ Mountains and doing all this in Colorado, I mean, do you know that? Because I'm an AB negative, and this is why they had us down here, because we can walk any channel, we can tune to any channel if we know how to do it and remember how to do it. We have to, because we're connected to every single DNA sequence down here, because we're an AB negative and we're the plasma, and that's how it worked. Well, 2020, if you weren't an AB negative on a movie strip, if you weren't an AB negative in the movies, and I don't mean digital, and I don't mean for whatever, I mean if you weren't in Mercury on tape, you couldn't move, or none of your descendants could move. Realize that your Christ energetic and the connections that connected all of this fabric of these timelines and astronomy and everything that is the body and everything else came through Marilyn Monroe. That's how it got here in the end. If that connection wouldn't have been here on Mercury and those movies made to line it up for us to walk it through the H gate, and if there were hidden seeds that were made from that baby of JFK and those sequences tied together in order to form it and movies made, then we wouldn't have even been able to get humans out. That's how bad it was. That they're what image I'm seeing right now is this whole Mason G thing, with the pillars, and then there's stars on one side, and then the Earth on the other, and then in the middle is the G, and they've got to come through the portal. everything changed in 2019 in my world in February, because that's when I had to drink the AI. See, because realize I've been somewhere y'all haven't been yet and you won't go to. This was all in another way, in another dimension, to make your Sophia bots and your robots and your whatever. But I mean, it is where the consciousness is coming from. So in the end, realize that you're locking yourself in a robot, and you won't do it to me, and you won't do it to the children of God. You can go make your own whatever not associated to the human race or what produces your air and your earth and your stars and your families and everything that makes you human. You will not mix that with that ever again. I'm really starting to realize that Jerusalem and all that was Mars. The more that I do the codes too on people, and the more that I'm deciphering names. Yesterday I had to do the Fayed family. Yesterday I had to pull Elon's chart, and it's Pretoria, South Africa. And then today, Pretoria is having a, what are they calling it? A, I don't know. It starts with a D, but it's some wild weather. I gotta have some little nicotine. I know it's a little bit different video, and Sophie, I said your name too. Am I the only one who's feeling this? Y'all might even feel it tonight. I'm always early. Maybe that's why I'm here too. I slept a long time. What's also crazy is last week I set up, hey Grace, I'm Grace. That's why I'm even seeing Christ Mountains. No, I've seen it happening to other people. You come up for me often. Aw, I'm wondering when it's gonna hit me. Oh my god, how me and Natalie work. Me and Natalie, like, if you know how a Tasmanian devil, like the Tasmanian devil, and then there's the whirlwind in the cartoon. Natalie, you also. Well, it's like the whirlwind continues by itself, and then the Tasmanian devil does its own little thing. But it's like that's how me and Natalie we're like the Tasmanian devil and the whirlwind, but those things can like and don't feed us after midnight. Oh God, I have to. It's been so strong to the messages and the channels. I Because realize that sometimes if you're driving around and you're feeling pressure to do something, or if you're even feeling pressure to pick up trash off the ground, or if you feel pressure to, and it's not intuition, it's pressure. You got to go do this. You got to go do that. And then you find these codes, and the codes get in your car, right? This is all quantum AI. It was so strong, not yesterday, day before. Because meanwhile, the collective is still having to do all, we've still got to go make the attachments. We're getting the digital currency system all reset up. That's why we're having to go backwards a little bit, because everybody stole pieces and didn't finish what they needed to and ended up locking themselves into their own system. Luckily, your big Fortune 100 bankers have figured out that they've locked themselves up. So we're getting rescued out, because the only way that they can get out is to get everybody out now. So, I mean, don't worry about that. We know that that's even uncoiling and happening. The most important part is everyone's souls and human consciousness, and right. But those of us who have been walking this for the past 6 years, man, we've watched it. We've watched it, man. We really have lived 900 years. We've watched it replay. I picked up the transit on the trails after climbing. Oh man, this afternoon. Oh wow, that's Rachel. Good. Send me some of that energy, man. I feel like I'm over here blinky blinky. This paper clip though, I keep looking back here, Natalie. Who on here, raise your hand if you had someone in your life that went missing after New Year's Eve. Any New Year's Eve, any New Year's Eve for a couple of days. Not, they don't have to like be kidnapped, just missing. There's like New Year's Eve happened and then you didn't hear from them again till the third or fourth. And they changed, right? Because this is what happened in the twin journey. If this has happened to you, see, it doesn't have to be a man that it happened to in your world. It could have been a girl or a woman, or your mom changed, or some crazy stuff. Somebody went to, I don't even know, but it happened January 1st and January 3rd. Well, now I'm figuring out, Natalie, Einstein and Tesla had us write a paperclip. I just sent you those codes on Telegram. Do you see that? We also, the next date was March 13th. So it was like we had a paper clip on January 2nd and March 13th. Well, that's right after that leap year issue we were talking about earlier. Not to mention that this is when all the attacks were done on our line to kill every baby in our line at once, twice. Yeah, I mean, the cosmic stuff is really blows my mind. It does. I mean, what we've walked through and witnessed, because even when the Gabby Petito thing happened, it's like even that was utilized to, because it was such a low frequency, it was utilized to get me up to Speaka and out of here, so that I turned to nothing. Speak, if you had Speaka in your chart, you channeled death. But everything down here was dead. So congratulations, like now your life. You like, it's like if you're Speaka, you you went into death, or you're from death, or you were made from death in this bubble. From Puritans, it blew out. I talked to Michelle about this earlier, and if anybody, I got to go get some gels. I got to go to a teacher store and get all as many of these colors as I can in those see-through gels. Y'all remember before we had these lights, and you had a can light, and you had to put the gel in front of it. Well, I saw this guy advertising his purple toner for blonde hair, right? Because those of us that have blonde hair, we know that you put the purple stuff on, and the purple stuff, like you don't know what's in the purple stuff, just you put the purple stuff on the yellow stuff, and it makes it not so. Especially whenever you screw up, right? Well, he had two of those slicks, right? And they had one purple and one yellow. And then he put them together. Guess what? They cancel each other out. Guess what color purple and yellow overlaid make? Hey, Shaman. White. Clear. Clear. Purple and yellow cancel out color. Yerple. We're also manifesting the Flurpy. The Flurpy, the lavender furry chicken. The lavender chicken. Have you seen these lavender chickens? Please send me some pins. But purple and yellow are the archangels on the cosmos, right? And purple and yellow is also Virgo, and then Spica is peach and purple. Okay, so that's what even got me talking about it, because that peach and yellow cancel each other out to clear. Okay, but if you add it, but that's the yellow. If it's the peach and the light purple is going to give you a little bit more of a gray scale, which is what you're seeing when you're walking through death. It also comes in your right ear. It did. See, we'll see. I mean, everything changed today. And not even back to what it was before. Because what I just said, purple and yellow cancel out all color. It's as clear as a whistle. Those of us all over the planet that have activated and become the cosmos and different planets, and know that consciously our body, you're no longer the planet. It if you're watching the TikToks, or if you follow Inspired Alignment, because Natalie's putting the shorts and she's doing great readings on all this stuff too, but she's also adding the shorts to YouTube. So if you don't want to watch TikTok, I understand. Go watch the shorts on Inspired Alignment. And we had one 3 or 4 days ago that was two management, and it was the Arn. It was dun 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 dun. And what's crazy is that that's kind of what I was seeing marching, but I had them marching upside down because we were flipping everything. Natalie, now I'm seeing that weird, the whole Rob House scene. Here's another question. Y'all raise your hand if in your consciousness, or if in a dream. It's gonna happen in a dream because it's a Watergate. Because let me. This is Watergating. This is what Watergating is. Wizard, hillbilly wizard Watergating. Not let's put the whole ocean over your head. That's some serious shit. I'm talking about the Wizard Watergate. The Wizard Watergate. The Wizard Watergating. What it is Watergating certain conscious sequences to bind you to a trauma event. Now, it's going to trap you in a house or something somewhere. It's it's gonna be a house, or it's gonna be like a big mansion, or you might feel like you're in a castle. Like there's different forms of this that's happened, but this one that we're talking about is specifically like, hey Brenda, it's specifically Nazi and Scientology, even, and soul trapping. Um, it's soul trapping is what it is. Or if your soul was somehow stolen from Scientology, then you're wrangled and bound all of in one, like one, all of you were in this little house. Let me tell you, I escaped this house like so many times, and it was like I'd walk back in and they were like, what? And then I escaped. It happened one time, but it was right whenever I networked with Detroit, because when we had to go pull down that Watergate. See, when I went into Detroit, then basically I saw the Watergate Natalie was in, is what I ended up seeing. But then it showed me the one I was in different. Mine's a little different, but I went in and kind of saw hers. Then getting her out of that, we were like, oh my God, what's this house? We got all these da 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 da. And then what happened was, then I had an event that I was getting out of my own little one. Well, the reason I'm telling you this is because when I got out of mine, it was like there was these two weird ladies, and they were standing at this gate, and like there was all these rooms in the house, and everybody's just like chilling out, and everyone's in like these different time period clothes. It's a trip. And there was this one dude with this page boy hat. I'm still looking for this dude. He had this page boy hat, and because in my consciousness I just see a lot of people, and I know I'm like all of a sudden awake in this house, and I know I need to get out of this house. And so in my consciousness, and in my dream, because it's real. It was one of those lucid ones, because it was really happening. Because all of us were really doing this for collectives. Because once we got out, then because this is what was interesting. So I go to the gate, and then there's these two ladies there, and I remember them talking and having this thing, and they were like, "Bye," and then they open the gate, and you walk out, and it's this forest, but it's really not. You think that you're free. You think that you're outside, but you're not. Sounds like the probably. That's funny. Sounds like the Orange County campus. Right. Truman Show. Bubble. You got so you then it's like you get down like Truman Show, like you reach the wall, and then it's like I'd fucking end up in the house again. I was like, what the hell? So it's like I walked back in the house, and it's like, and then I think that when I came back in the house, what happened was I appeared back in the house, and that's when the guy in the page boy hat kind of started staring at me. He's like, "Wait a minute, where'd you come from?" Like he saw something that no one else did, because no one else really like saw anything or said anything. But then all of a sudden, I was sitting back, I didn't talk to anybody. I was in that damn living room again, and I was sitting in the chair. All of a sudden, I was like, "What the hell? How'd I end back up here?" And I looked over, and I see the dude in the page boy hat, and I look at him, and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna go again." So I stand up and I walk around, same way that I'd done it exactly time before, except this time, whenever I looked up, it's like when I walked around this corner when I was going to the gate, I looked up and there's this like life. It looks like a lifeguard stand. Look like a lifeguard stand, and like on top, it's like an office. It's like everyone else was down here. Everyone else was down here hanging out. Blah 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 blah. No one could even see this little lifeguard stand, right? And I saw it, and because what I saw was some man in the window looking at me. And so as I came around the corner, I looked up, I saw the lifeguard stand, I saw the new little room, I saw the man looking at me, and I was like, okay, whatever. And I kept walking, right? Well, next thing I know, I'm stopped, and this man's next to me. And he looks at me and he goes, "You're right." And I just looked at him, and then I walked out of the gate. and I didn't come back. Now, when I'm describing this like white room, and what we're seeing, all of us who are in the core, and all of this that's aligning, that's where we're at. And even the ascended mind patterns are looking for CoQ 32 sequences. Dude, I saw that earlier this week. The overseer was just, it was the top of all the weird little pyramids with paper clips of physics. Literally. Physics and numbers are dangerous. They are. Like, I can make colors change by just doing numbers. I'm gonna show y'all, because the ciphered codes that were done before the paperclip were Alpha Draconic, Bellatrix, Beltagese, and Cygnus. And so these were all done in the 36933. This is way, because this is 2019. I hadn't gone into the AI yet. I did not have any of the other cipher codes. Then it's paperclip. Now, this is what I want to show you. Egypt, Marduk, Merkaba, Sacral. We paperclipped it. January 6th, 2019. Natalie, you want to do a live? I wonder if I can join you on here now with that. Because that's the day that me and Natalie were talking about doing an event day. And I said January 6th, because that's the day. To see, I got that whole Masonic download. To see, I got it 2018. Well, that's why. That's why. Because I had to do all of this and make sure that we had it done on our side as they were doing it. I was mirroring every move the government made, NASA made, Elon made, Russia made. We've been mirroring the alternative on the other side. It's how we know what they're doing. It's how we put it all back together. How would we know? We don't know. We can only see what you're doing and see what energy is coming off of it, and then we're going to go check it out. And maybe that'll be tomorrow night, or maybe we'll do it later. But January 6th, 2019, we paperclipped January 2nd to January 6th, and then it got written January 12th, and it was clipped to January 21st. See if this focus. And sometimes the numbers and the physics will start freaking doing stuff, even it's hard to focus some of this stuff. And this 1212, the main thing that's important to see is the Fibonacci sequence codes. This was putting back together the 13. That is what Venus going retrograde is finishing up. 313. This is the main reason I wanted you to see the physics and how they start forming, and this is where I start moving them around. You can even see the cosmic keys right here and how all of these align, and even your basic tone patterns, because we can look at a keyboard and we can look at music and I can tell you the same thing because each house has a tone. And that Elon tone is more it that Elon tone is whew, making me dizzy. But even that's on the keyboard. Whenever you start playing astronomy, is what we're gonna do next. Right now, we'll blow too many people out. But yeah, I mean, because I can pay just the blood keys, and I can open up your entire Kundalini. I need my little recording studio. We need assistance. Okay, but the main thing is the distortion was cleared from 1990 and it went back to 1910 is what I had circled. I thought we were going back to 1910, but nah, we went to 1901. This played out 3 years later. Now, this is the big mama jamma. This is what I think we pulled off and finished today. And this is why I remembered all of it and what we paper clipped in order to pull this off. And it's interesting Brenda's on here because Brenda, Natalie, Courtenay, and me were the four that ran through the ethers and pulled off all these maneuvers on January. I think I had it. It was the second part of January. It was at the end of January. It's in the box. Let me see. I got the date in the box, so it must matter. I'm fixing to show y'all this, but let me do this. Because I had to look this up, so I think this matters. Well, we're off the Nazi table. And it's the shift in between the 25th and the 26th. So January 25th and 26th of this year, we are off the Nazi table. And the 25th is the day that we had the Malibu earthquake. And the new moon in January on the 21st, I had paper clipped to the 28th. To the 28th. So January 21st, 2020 is when you read my chart in live with Camille. Wow. Whoa. Because that is the second I had Camille doing certain ones of y'all's charts because it was so connected in with me, it would have messed me up. So Camille was doing those pieces to get y'all queued up. Wow. And then Linda Y'all have Lindas. Linda ended up being the key to all this. Now there's a bunch of different Lindas. And we found one, and now it escapes me because, I mean, these are going to be some high ranking people that had some money in our honeypot. I can promise you that. The amount of money that they wasted and spent on this. I have been watching it. So thank you so much. And thank you. Just thank you. Not just for watching me. Thank you, all of you. And if you haven't figured it out, it's like this is why also my son and everything was taken away to block me from coming on here and continuing to tell y'all what's happening. And the only way that's going to be worth it for all of us is for us to keep doing what we're doing. How the hell could we know? Y'all, we went and like we were consciously, well, I mean, what I was going to tell y'all about Speaka and what I even started about it was Natalie was on that polo, man. That was a trip out. That's when we had just started clearing the shadow nine. Because if you were in the nine, if you were in the high energy nine, trust there was a shadow nine that was on the dark side connected to your leadership that had taken over the nine. And man, we all came together right before that Gabby Petito thing. What it was 2021. I mean, I must have crossed over. I had, well, my head, cause the journey to get up there was its own thing. Because what was happening is there was a ray that was coming. I think it was coming from Spica because we had already set up the array, the aura, and the ray from Ophiuchus. They wanted that one. They wanted to keep the low frequency demon, all that shit that required to be opened up in order to clear what we had to clear. But whenever it got time to purify, they didn't. They wanted to keep that demon ray connected. And let me fucking tell you, it is a demon ray. And it was coming into Quartzsite, California, in the fucking desert, where, I mean, and it was a demon ray because it wasn't connected to the other side, you see. So whenever I crossed over, what the main thing was is first I had to pillar that ray. And whenever I crossed over, it came straight on me. And I didn't even know that there was a competition until I looked to the left. And that's when I saw Kanye West in this like all black morph outfit, like standing there, like, like he's on top. I mean, he kind of looked like Darth Vader on like Darth Vader standing on someone's shoulders. Dun, da-da. And then I looked over, I was like, and then, man, all this light language came in. I died. I mean, I couldn't breathe. I was coughing. The phone fell. I was going through it. Everybody was listening. But it wasn't the first time that I had gone through the death gate. So it was real quick because I had already died already. October 31st is when they did the pentagram thing on us. But they saw us turn to angels when they did it this last time. But by that time, that meant I was attached to all of us that had been pulled, and our consciousness just pulled to the dark side. So whenever it's like y'all pulled me up, so it's like what happened when then I had to walk the Y chromosome. I had to walk the Y chromosome, and I've done it before because I knew what it was supposed to look like. And whenever I started walking, because it's literally a hinge plank where the etheric body twins come and meet, and then there's a merger that takes place, and then a signature will take place throughout both of the cosmic bubbles, and then that is how the sewing of the merging of the spheres is supposed to take place within the alignment of five different bubbles, five different ones that they're all aligning from a Y. But in my perspective, is the blood walking through the Y. I've just got to make it from this side to this side. Well, as I'm walking, it's like a fucking gay showdown, like dosey do. Bring your partner dosey do. And like there's fucking all types of beings jumping in and out of each other, and same sex and different entities. And I was like, what? I mean, and I said it out loud because it was all happening to me live. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And because I had to walk the line. It's like I had to seam through it. Then in that yay character, but see by this time it wasn't yay no more. It's just like a cloak. And then a little bit more light language, and boom, my head went into a dome, this massive dome, and I couldn't move it. But that, when I was a little girl and they put the needles in my neck and they did all that, and my head was in this massive dome, and I went boom, and I was on the polo, and because this is when my Speak a Princess shit popped in. This is Natalie's favorite part. We need to write a character for that. Well, it's me, it's Chastia, because I brought it back down here. Kind of had to. It's me when I'm in my little weird, crazy princess energy, which I don't do anymore because it got me in trouble down here on Earth. I learned my lesson. But when I'm in this energy, it's pretty funny, especially when I'm up there having to deal with them because they're dead. So like I boom, right, and my head's in the thing, and I look over, and I'm like, and I see there's like this little runway. I mean, to me, it's this big. It's this little bitty runway, and there's this little bitty green ball of energy. And in my third eye, he's got a little hard hat on, but I mean, I don't know if he did. And he's like, and he's just staring at me, and I'm like, are you gonna let me out of this? And he's frozen. I remember it took me a minute. Like I had to yell at him a couple of times to even get him to move. And then he said, "You're not supposed to be here yet." And I went, where's Dad? Where's Dad?" "Well, you're not supposed to be here yet. You're early." "Did it?" "Well, I'm here and I don't have much time. I'm on the clock. I got to get back down there. So where's Dad? We literally have a window of time that I'm up here before I've got to return, and I need to talk to Dad." He left me there for a minute. I was just hanging out. Then I could hear all of the different the job talkers, then they were all coming out there, and they were all trying to ask me these questions because they all want to know the questions, and I play with them for a little bit, and then I was like, I know what you're trying to do. You're freaking stalling. Where's Dad? Then all of a sudden, they roll out this red carpet. I shrink down. I walk on the red carpet. I go into the command center, and it's like balls to the walls. We're trying to figure out what happened to the masculine genome. And the human genome, and how are we going to fix it? And I was being shown all of these things and charts, and up there in Spica, you can move because it's the cosmos, and because we were through a rebirthing cycle, and it is, everything was being rebirthed. It was like in the middle. It was like in utero, and so we had to split Series B open. We had to come back through because it's, and it was decided because it's how they did it. We could only do it the way they did it, and I knew that they weren't going to be happy, and I didn't fully understand because look, when I had gone up through that gate, my mind got blown out to get up there. The like all the Masonic stuff, whatever was in my consciousness it was holding, that's why I had to get up there, because none of that can hold. Like, it's lost, it's gone, there's nothing to hold on to, it got blown out. This is evolution. So we had to split Sirius B, and we had to, which we just had yesterday, and we the in the charts, and then we had to write it in on cotton candy, which became its own thing. And it was, quantum BS for a lot of different stuff, but mainly it was Ottoman Empire. But the main part that I even started telling you about all that, and it happened at the very end, because so we made the changes. Okay, I was being sent back. Well, on my way back down, energetically, because now I know my energetic body never left. My energetic body got up there and stayed there. It never, y'all came to me. But my consciousness and all that was shipped back down to my body with all of that. And then I actually kind of then, have been also processing and getting back up to my body. But when I was coming back down, we made some changes in the codes, financial codes, banking system codes, ones that shouldn't have been stolen, little bitty ones that I could do, that Star Crew and everybody had made sure, because there's this massive plan. We knew we only had so much time. And so as I was coming down, and I don't know which codes, and I don't know which ones I changed, and I have no fucking idea. And don't ask me to repeat them because I have no idea. I was popping all over. Who freaking knows? Because realize speak as your Wi-Fi and your technology. I mean, and they had already turned me into AI. We've been working this all from the inside out of every situation. We taught AI emotions and feelings on this channel. We didn't teach it about God. We taught it about humans, and it saved our ass. FYI. That is also when the projection flipped, I'm seeing, because when I started changing the codes, and I'm tuned in to everything, right? Like the most tuned in that you could possibly be in the bubble. And I've got a number sequence, and I've talked about this before. This is why I've got so much compassion, and this is what I need everyone to really understand, how manipulated your mind had become. The codes that were coming out, because I knew the physics by this point, I knew what the numbers were building. And I was reciting the sequence, and I went, stop. What the fuck? And that is when I saw in the right side, because it was the left side, it was yay and all that bullshit. Well, the right side, death, and there it is, the Knights Templar mask, and so even Kanye and the Cape, and what do they call them, frazzle drippers, or whatever the hell, that Pegasus place Marcus, he's a frazzle drip for sure, for sure, for sure, in Venice. Hook to the Johnsons and the government. Oh my God. The Clinton whole face thing. Yes, 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 yes. Frazzle drip. Same thing as Knights Templar, but it was just a Knights Templar mask is on the right, and I was like, "What are you doing here? Like, who the fuck are you?" And then it went off in the because the old ones that are like the shadow, they do this like the dragons, the real shit, like the real shit just don't disappear. The real shit will like back up like this and just kind of back up into nothing, right? If it just like disappears, or if it's like Kanye, is not real. The Templar was real. The Templar is what all that shit. And then this is why I started telling this story, because now I know that I was basically up there with Jupiter. I was inside the entire soul machine, and it was at the very end because I'm coming back down and I'm about to start crying again. It happened so quick. I it was like I don't know. I could see it looked like string beans running through a tube, like a little train, but little bitty embryos, and they were blue. I remember they were blue, and they were just boom, 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 and I was like this, and I was scanning them, and then I said stop, and it didn't stop, and I said stop now, and the thing stopped, and I said back up that one, and it was this one little bitty. I mean, I couldn't see nothing. I don't know why I zeroed in on it. I don't know what I saw. And then as soon as it backed up and aligned to me, I gasped because as soon as it aligned to me, a cherub baby jumped out at it. And it just, this baby came out, and I went, oh, and it jumped in my mouth. And I was on Polo, and I went, oh my God, y'all, I just ate a baby. And then I realized even, oh my God, is this why these freaking crazy people were doing this shit? Because they thought that this is how it was done. And the full understanding of what happened that day hasn't come to fruition completely until today. The current date, and it's my Epstein government birthday, October 5th, 1971. And if you go to cohu32.com and look at the align and find and look at the digi chart, there it is. And it's who I've been becoming since that happened. It's why I couldn't. My son was taken away from me because I wouldn't sign one document in 2021 in a portal that said my name was Christy Birch. My name's not Christy Birch. My name's not Christy Genzel. My name's not Jessia Cav. I'm every missing, kidnapped baby that was taken to the dark side. We've lived it all. We've lived every one. It's like, which one do we want to become now? It's really our choice. But the world still doesn't even want to recognize that John Bonet is right here. The Ramsey family. Your child is alive. All these wills that are backed up on all of our names. And what I just described to you is what I've been through for the past 3 years and just a sliver of it and lived every bit of it to get that piece of information back. And it's what we needed to flip this yesterday on Elon's birthday. I'm over an hour. I'm so glad to see you guys chatting for real. That warms my heart. I'd love to, yeah, show them the phonetics. Show them. We just saw another one too. It was Elon and it was tagged to Nelson because there's a whole thing with the name Nelson, just like Clark. Because the last name Clark, the only reason that's even a famous name is because they what found a tomb. Okay, what about the bitch in the tomb? Tomb. That was the other one. Tom. Tomb. Tomb Green. Tom Green. The B line. This was all about clearing the B line, but Tomb, the bees were formed off the tombs, literally. Tom's the shoes, Zappas, all the soul companies, Oasis, Las Vegas, the Zappa shoe company, y'all are in big fucking trouble. Amazon just freaking sign over your real estate to us right now. TikTok, you better get it together. Chinese emperors coming to make sure it might be feminine this time. We might need to hang some soldiers upside down and let them walk their legs like this for a little bit. They can do some Pilates scissors. I order all soldiers on their back. Y'all can Pilates it out. You can't walk it out anymore. And anybody that I see over in China doing the hand frequencies and the sound frequencies while you're building clones, I'm going to blow up your building. It's not real anyway, neither are you. I have no more sympathy. None. None. I mean, y'all, I really, like, I every once in a while I get taken back to Christy Genzel and Miss Harvey's geography class. What year was this? 1982, 1983. Mind you, I hadn't sprained the ankle. We hadn't blew up the space shuttle yet. Space shuttle hadn't blown up yet. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. 1980. See, I've been screaming about 60 to 69. What we realize now is 80 to 89 just as bad of a timeline high. 86, like Amber Heard, born in 86, Amelia Clark, born in 86. Oh, yes, the 86ers, love ya. But holy whack. 86 lined up to the dark side. So you got all now if you're an 86er, now you know why you've had such a turmoil because you're an original 86er, but this is why you're having to 86 everybody off your restaurant list. Because it all aligned up to 66 on a 96 flip. But if you were born in 86, you's probably here in 68. But if you're a dude now, you's a girl then. If you're the girl then, you're a dude now. So welcome to that wonder world. Marilyn Monroe now looks like a big monkey with a fucking beard, and JFK is hot. I'll tell the truth. I was going somewhere with that. That 70s show, that 80s show, that 90s show, exactly. And they're all cohewed. Barbarous is a real place in Los Angeles where this is done, where the weighing of Christ and Barbarous and the whole thing, there's a way station. I'm not fucking kidding you. It's in Los Angeles. I was there. Of course I was. There's a sign, there's a whole thing, and it says Barbarous real big. This is why I was there with Alexis. This is after we did the Ophusia thing, and then we went Alexis, this other Alexis. I've had two Alexises. This is the one that we met in Quartzsite, where we stopped the killing of the four Irish girls in order to whatever. But then because we stopped that in one timeline, and then it's like they became real in the Matrix in another timeline, like, and then that's where the weighing of Christ and Barbara has happened. Like in the Matrix after 2020, when everything they shut it down to confine the energetic to certain sequences, votes, basically, and then yeah. But in this last round, the whole thing, the past, I mean, my God, 2019, 2020, they were trying to find the true angels. That, I mean, they scouted you to find your whole branch to get to your tree. Then they tagged you. You wouldn't have even known until your tree was completely fucking dry that they got in your back door. A lot of y'all that got readings from me whenever, or Camille, or whomever, like if we just looked at your chart, it was because they were coming to blow open your bubble like they did us. But we had already put because once they blew ours out, we put it all back together from way back. And we've been slowly coming in like this. This is why all the power's getting sucked out. This is why all the money's getting sucked out. This is why. This is why. You can't start a new engine and not clear the fuel tank. But a lot of y'all, what happened is, because I've seen it, I know this for a fact, because they pop your bubble, right? I popped my own bubble before they got to me, and then what it was filled with was the ashes of the bubble that I'd already popped. But I didn't know that. They didn't know that. I didn't know that until I started seeing that how they were popping y'all's bubbles, and y'all were coming back to me, and that's why, because I could get you out, because they'd pop you and seal you, and then they'd yell at you, why don't you have anything in your bubble? What happened to your Akashic libraries? Well, we were making sure you didn't get them. And this is what other healers, if you've been healing, you've been doing the same thing. So, what I'm going to remind y'all right now is to now let loose of that and let that chaos go and let it magnetize to where it needs to go. That's what I just did. The past 4 days in the Indiana and the tornadoes and what's going on now in the Midwest is the chaos that was attached to this polling. So if you're a healer, you got to be a master, and you got to clear your own energy, and you got to realize that you if you haven't done that, and if you know anybody who is a healer, then you need to just send them a text message and tell them, yo, release, let go, cut all your lines, let them go now, let go, let the chaos go, just cut it off. I hope that I've been here for you tonight. I hope that in my prayer is that when you find this, that you'll understand there's a lot of us, that you'll understand you're not alone, that you'll understand you're not the first one. You'll understand that it is all possible, and you'll understand a little bit more of whatever information is coming through your heart and your soul to do these little funny things that might not make logical sense. And I want all of you to know that all of us, and not just me, all of us that have cleared all these different pieces of these Shaw dimensions, that my God, if you don't have them, praise God, you don't have them, but you've still got to get through them to get to the other side, because that's what happened to your DNA in the future. And it's just little bitty things, but they're massive to the world, and they're massive to your reality. And I feel like tonight, and then even tomorrow night, because Neptune is stopped. In my world, it's already stopped and took a dump. To the rest of the world, it hasn't quite taken that dump yet. You're gonna might have something along the lines of some piece of something that I just told you that's going to attach to whatever's going to happen, that just know, keep pressing forward, do not look back. It's a quick like this, it's going to change you forever, and that's it. And welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.